Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for What's New in accesso ShoWare, our latest product enhancements. My name's Joe Wetstead. I'm joined and presenting today by Val Waranga. Today we'll be sharing our newest innovations from the past year to help you get 2018 started on the right foot. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping items so you know what to expect and how to participate in today's session. You may have already noticed that your voices have been muted. They will remain muted throughout the session. However, you will be able to type questions to our moderator throughout the webinar. Then at the end of the session, there will be a Q&A taken from your typed questions. All right, let's get started. At accesso, we believe technology has the power to redefine the guest experience. Everything we do starts with thinking about the guest experience first, which allows us to help simplify operations, improve guest satisfaction, and drive growth for our clients. Accesso, excuse me. Accesso has a suite of solutions that service ticketing and data management, from queuing products to ticketing and point of sale software to distribution channels to marketing and personalization of the guest experience. Our solutions help solve problems and enhance the patron experience at every touch point during their journey. Our approach is to let our clients focus on what they do best, to provide outstanding experiences for their patrons, while we provide the technology to support those efforts. Our products and services support some of the top attractions in the world, from theme parks to performing arts, zoos, festivals, and more. Whether it be food and beverage point of sale, virtual line reservations, ticketing, or guest management, our solutions help streamline and simplify operations for a wide variety of venues. Our focus on research and development is a major point of differentiation for our products. In 2016, accesso was able to invest $17.9 million directly back into R&D across its platforms, and that's honestly equal to some of our competitors' entire annual revenues. We invest heavily in our products because our industry demands it, because our clients benefit from it, and because it makes a positive difference in the guest experience. Innovation is core to our business and our partnerships, and it's part of our commitment to clients that our software will never be frozen in time, but constantly evolving to meet new demands. So let's shift our focus to accesso ShoWare products and some of the innovations we developed in 2017. And again, always keeping our focus on providing a positive guest experience and driving growth for your organization. Our accesso ShoWare solution integrates all of your ticketing across one easy-to-use platform for staff and guests alike. Today, we're going to touch on some of the features of our solution designed to save your staff time and increase your revenue, all while keeping the patron experience intuitive and easy to navigate. So at this point, I'm going to turn things over to our product director, Val, who will walk you through many of these enhancements one by one.
Thank you, Joe, and hello, everyone. Welcome to the new year. As we're looking back at 2017, I have to say I'm immensely proud of what we have been able to accomplish. And when I say we, I really don't just mean the accesso ShoWare team, because what you've seen us building has come in large part from our interactions with you, our clients. Last year was a really big year for us. We were able to introduce over 70 new features to the system. For our webinar today, I'm going to dive into some of the bigger features on this list, but as you'll see, this is really just the tip of the iceberg. Our product strategy is really quite simple. We pull in the best brains we can find, which includes you, build a solid, effective, and innovative solution, and get it to you as quickly as possible. As you accesso ShoWare power users already know, this system really has an impressive number of features. So if you're ever wondering how to do something, or even if something is possible, that's an amazing opportunity to reach out to your client services manager. They love to brainstorm with you on new and creative ways to use the solution, and our client service team really is always excited to help you find the best and easiest way to meet your business needs. To make things a little bit simpler as we go through some of these major projects that we undertook last year, we've grouped them by category. We worked on 3 really significant technical enhancements this last year, and these are the features that you likely won't even notice are on your system. They're the background features. When we set up our product roadmap every year, we're sure to build in time to work on the technology that makes everything run. This is everything from us building up our internal API to allowing the different parts of the system to talk to each other better, or auditing system security to make sure that even though that we're integrating with the best and newest product offerings by our partners, those sorts of technological enhancements. At the top of the list was our personally identifiable information, or PII, update. What we did here was we looked beyond the rigorous network security requirements that we already have in place and implemented a policy to help you protect your client's PII even more. With this new policy, if you have a client who's no longer an active client of yours, the system automatically masks any info that could be used to compromise their identity. So for anyone who's a little bit less familiar with what PII means, that's everything from the patron's name to their email address, to the last 4 digits of their credit card, all the way down to their zip code. In Q4 of last year, we also worked with Vantiv to integrate with their brand new cloud EMV services, well ahead of the EMV deadline. So although we'd already partnered with Vantiv to provide those EMV services a couple of years ago, this year we had the opportunity to leverage their best and brightest as we look down the road to a time where EMV terminals are the norm everywhere. And we immediately saw a huge difference in the product we were able to offer you when we reintegrated with their cloud services. Now, more than ever, the setup of EMV stations at your box office is user-friendly and actually quick. If you're considering setting up EMV for your in-person transactions in the next year, I would strongly encourage you to talk to your CSM about these new cloud readers and what that could look like for your organization. Now, when it comes to your system and how we build your software, there are basically 2 ways to look at things. Either we can build it ourselves, or we can connect to something that does it for us. For example, as a software company, it'd be a pretty major shift in our project focus to try and build our own printer instead of building the technological connectors for you to use your own Boca printers. So whether it's timing or expertise or any number of other criteria and requirements, we build a lot of connections to outside services to meet our needs. But sometimes we take another look at the feature and say, okay, if we take this one back, we can make it an even more flexible feature and use it in the future. So that's what we did this year with our QR code generator. Again, this isn't a feature that you'll see a button for under accesso ShoWare control, but it's worth mentioning because it's a great example of how we're always looking toward the future. One of our clients simply needed a really customized ticket template for wristbands that would print out a QR code instead of our standard 1D, those are the thick and thin line barcodes. And we said, sure thing. But then what we did at the same time was we built our own QR code generator service in the system so that we can use that tool in other places down the road. And while I'm not going to promise here on a recorded webinar just how we're going to be using this technology, the creative possibilities of what we can do with it are genuinely pretty exciting. Moving on to communication enhancements, when we talk about communication, the importance of integrity is something that we take very seriously. Seriously enough that we dropped it into our corporate values, and we see communication as a very fundamental piece of integrity. That mentality is something that you can see in several of the tools we put into play this year, both to help the accesso ShoWare team communicate with you and to help you better communicate with your patrons as well. Okay, bear with me while we take a slight step back here on this first feature. For those of you who are new to the accesso ShoWare family, it's important to know a bit more about how the development team works. Our team uses a continuous deployment strategy, which really means that we're putting out new features all the time. That strategy is simple. When we build something, there's no reason to make you wait around for months or even years to get it. You should get it as soon as technologically possible. We took that "if you build it, they will come" phrase one step further to more of a "when you build it, put it in their hands," but it just didn't have quite the same ring to it. So while you've been getting the newest features on your site for years, we found that a lot of our announcements about the cool new stuff that you could be using were just flying under the radar. So we built an announcement tool. Now, when there's an important new feature waiting for you on your system, you see a little note from us letting you know a bit more about it and encouraging you to talk to your CSM to get it either rolling or trained. In addition to that administrative alert, we also added 3 other features to help clarify and streamline communication. The first is a new report we added called the Item Breakdown Report. It allows you to see in a snapshot how many items you sold through the system in the past month and breaks it out by whether they were purchased online or offline so that you can audit your monthly statement or just see how well you're doing. We also expanded our performance level messaging, making it easier for our clients who wanted to direct patrons to sign waivers or provide more specific messaging. We also built a tool that allows you to create contract templates so that you can send specific orders a very customized terms and conditions contract along with those orders. So that rounds out our communications feature highlights, and I'm going to hand it back to Joe here for a minute to talk about our next exciting feature.
Thank you very much, Val. You know, a lot of times when we think about innovation, we think about building something from scratch. However, this year you saw a couple of very strategic acquisitions from accesso, and one that we're really extremely excited about and just finished integrating with is a company called Ingresso. One of the things I hear most from existing clients and prospects is, how can you help us sell more tickets? Not just sell tickets, but sell more tickets. And the answer is adding distribution channels. It's about more than doing things like mobile optimization or shopping cart optimization, which are more about conversions, not distribution. It's about getting more product to market, and Ingresso is the future. Ingresso's platform is well vetted at some of the biggest venues in Europe, and Ingresso's platform meets the demanding needs of high-profile distributors such as Amazon, Groupon, and Ticketmaster. By integrating your accesso ShoWare system with Ingresso, you can connect to a global distribution network, which enables customers to buy tickets in real time from around the world. The API integration is quick to complete, and it takes away the administration and allocations of vouchers, streamlining the process for both your customers and staff. Just like the old Vic experienced, Ingresso will increase your incremental sales with minimal effort. Ingresso handles all payments and accounting. Your box office will maintain full control of inventory at all times. With Ingresso, you can increase your market presence and market reach, and then continue to grow by taking advantage of new distribution partners as they become available. If you're interested in talking more about Ingresso, please reach out to your customer service manager. And Val, back to you.
Thanks, Joe. Okay, when we're looking at your selling tools within the ShoWare system, it's easy to overlook the tried and true features like your daily e-commerce site and the corresponding mobile design. But don't worry, we've got you. This year, we took another look at the site and said, how can we expand this to allow for bigger, better, and easier marketing ideas? Early in 2017, we rebuilt our performance access restrictions to allow you to set up timed passwords and even credit card pre-sales, like the Amex pre-sale that inexplicably gets requested for individual performances. We also expanded that password functionality to allow you to capture and track those passwords used in the box office or on the touchscreen interface so that you can better understand the value of those promotions that you put in play. On top of adding in new ways for patrons to get into a pre-sale, we also continue to focus on how you can build sales momentum with creative promotions and automating processes so that you don't have to sit in front of your screen watching the sales. There were 3 things we did to help you set up your performance pricing that, frankly, I'm still wildly excited about. The first one was an expansion of our dynamic pricing tool that allows you to set up price changes that automatically go into effect after a certain percentage of the house has been sold. We also built in some pricing code restrictions that allow you to cap the number of tickets you've sold at a certain price, or even the number of tickets that a patron is allowed to purchase at that specific price. So if you were to set up a Valentine's promo that has the first 50 couples getting super fancy VIP tickets for really cheap regular price tickets, and you want to limit it so that people can't snag more than 2 of them, and you want to make sure that it only goes to those first 100 tickets, now we've got you covered on all of those fronts. Okay, so moving on from those, we're getting into the part of the show where we highlight features that we've worked on because we took another look at what you're using day in and day out and said, all right, let's make this even better. First up, and most recently added to the system, is our integration with PayPal. In Q4, we completed the integration with PayPal Checkout and PayPal Credit for online payments. Now you can allow your patrons to check out on the public site using PayPal. It gives them the ability to spend that PayPal balance with you now that they've cashed in their fantasy winnings, or use their cards on file, or even apply for a PayPal credit to cover the basket if it has a little higher price tag. The best part is that after they've secured PayPal credit, the money goes straight to your PayPal business account, and the patrons can arrange for their automated payments back with PayPal. So your clients get those season tickets they were eyeballing, and you get the money for it up front. Of course, partnering with PayPal to offer your clients another way to pay has proven across markets to increase online conversion rates. Patrons feel secure using that PayPal checkout. They know the logo, and they've proven that they can actually buy more when they're offered the chance to apply for a PayPal credit during the checkout process. So if you haven't already set up PayPal checkout on your site, I would strongly encourage you to chat with your CSM, who will help you take advantage of this new feature right away. Basket updates for coupons. This was surprisingly a huge project for us. It was one of those that had been rattling around for a long time as, come on guys, this seems like a really small and simple thing. Let's just do it. But when we got into it, the reason that we hadn't done it sooner was because it just wasn't as simple as we thought behind the scenes, and we had to get it right. But get it right we did. So here's what the basket auto update actually does. In the basket update, when you enter a coupon, it automatically applies the discounted pricing wherever it can. Pretty slick. In the end, it was really a great opportunity for us to revisit a lot of our code and make it better for the future. And yeah, it'll also help you and your patrons out as well. Another major change that we made this year was to our touchscreen interface. For any of you who have never taken a look, this interface basically allows you to grab the closest tablet in your box office, send the intern out to bust the line on your big sales days. So while it certainly did the trick as it was before, we wanted to make it even faster and better. We added in the ability to use mixed baskets in that touchscreen interface, as well as some better performance search tools so that the interface would be easier and a lot more intuitive. Now, while all of these projects that I've just mentioned have been primarily geared toward boosting sales, don't worry. We also keep in mind the fact that while it's cool people are buying tickets from you, that only goes so far if you don't know who they are. We're in the data days, people, so we took a look at the systems to see where we can snag just that little bit of more information that'll help you track your patrons in the future. So now, whether you're using the box office or the touchscreen interface, as soon as you collect an email address in the purchase process, the system automatically creates a patron account based on that email address, even if it's purchased as a quote unquote, you can't see my finger quotes, but a quote unquote anonymous purchase order. So the system automatically creates that account based on the email address, and you can observe their purchase history. Now, when that glorious day finally comes and they actually sign up for the full patron account, instead of using that guest checkout feature, all of their orders are already in place, and you can see what those patterns of purchase history have been for them. Another pretty major feature that we took a look at this last year was the seat map creation tool to make it easier for you to build large seat maps, copy them, or even edit them for post-renovation adjustments. And while most of us aren't rebuilding our seat maps very frequently, we wanted to make sure that the next time you do have to build a seat map in the system, it'll be more intuitive and a much more user-friendly process. Naturally, after we looked at the seat map creation tool, we didn't stop there. We took another look at some of the seat map section visualization tools and reports and bulked them up a bit to allow your team a faster and easier way to see what their house looks like. So that rounds out our recap of the highlights from 2017. If you're still with us, thank you. That was a lot, I know, and I packed a lot of it into a very short amount of time here. So as always, if you have questions that you can't formulate at this very moment, please feel free to reach out to your CSM. We're here for you. Now, as I said, 2017 was a really big year for us, but of course, we're not done there. We actually have really big plans for 2018 as well. This year, we are expanding our product development team to continue this pretty impressive outpouring of features and enhancements at this reckless pace, and make sure that we can get those items out as quickly and carefully as possible to you. We've also started work on the next fleet of major features, and we've already added in some minor changes to make your lives easier. We're also taking a look at our internal processes as the product development team to see how we can continue to improve and focus on getting all of those brains in the right room that I talked about earlier. As we work on each new feature, we want to make it as useful as possible for all of you, regardless of your specific market that you work within. This means that we're spending more time in the planning stages of new features, talking with those boots on the ground players to make sure that we know exactly what we're building and that we're building it to meet those exacting standards, how we can do it as quickly as possible, as quickly and awesomely as possible. So with that, Joe, I'm going to pass it on back to you.
Thank you, Val. And just to kind of close it off here, we talked earlier about accesso's focus on innovation, and that innovation is focused on key features critical to each market we serve. Our goal is always to stand with you shoulder to shoulder as a partner to address current and future business needs, and it's all only possible through a great team of people who have passion to help you advance your business. Whether it's an offhanded discussion at Intex, a request sent over to your CSM, or us taking a closer look at how your ticket sales are doing and what could revolutionize the market, we're always thinking of how to make your lives easier. As Val mentioned, we have many initiatives underway for 2018, and we're looking forward to having you all join us for a mid-year update on those developments a little bit later in the year. At this point, we're going to open up our Q&A. And Katie, do we have any questions that have been submitted?
Thank you, Joe. We do have a couple that have come in here. We'll go ahead and start with this one. What is the best way to submit a request for a future enhancement?
Well, the best way to do that from an existing client perspective is to kind of channel that through your CSM. One of the things I think we do that's super innovative that we, it's one of those things that we're not coding or building, but just in how we approach and foster an innovative environment. We have a product steering committee. So on that committee, we have a representative from the CSM team. People serve about semesterly terms on that. We have someone from the sales organization, obviously from product, from development, CEO, and that's where we sit and we prioritize. But your channel as a customer and an existing customer directly to that would be through your CSM.
Yeah, and just to clarify on that, in that committee meeting, all of your requests as you're talking with your CSM are coming to that meeting. It's not like you have to wait every quarter until your specific CSM is sitting on the panel. We go through on a weekly basis and hear what's going on in your minds, in your markets, and in your business needs, and tie all of those strings together.
Indeed.
Great. Thank you, Joe and Val. Our second question is, how many templates can I have for seat maps?
Ooh, I'll take this one. So really, you can have as many templates for seat maps as you want. Most of us just have 1 or 2 venues that we're working with, and so the seat map doesn't change terribly much. But if you do have a seat map or have a venue with a lot of flexible seating where you need to build out a bunch of different seat maps, have at it. You can build as many as you want.
Great, thank you, Val. Our next question is, are there any other reports on the roadmap for this year?
Ooh, this sounds like a me one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are always looking at our reports. We've found that every client has really different business directives and different bits of data that they need in different formats. So while we have our fleet of standard reports and lots of flexibility in those reports, we continue to add to them. Both whenever we have a brand new feature, we want to make sure that that feature is trackable for you, as well as just both working on our existing reports and building in new reports for specific other markets as well. So that's the long answer. The short answer would be absolutely yes.
Great, thank you, Val. These next two questions are kind of related, so I'll go ahead and group them together. They have to deal with EMV. So this person is wondering, are there other providers other than Vantiv? And does PayPal provide EMV processing, or is Vantiv really the only option there?
Yeah, so currently, because the EMV readers are their own integration piece, we're currently integrated just with the Vantiv EMV solution.
All right, short and simple.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, our next question looks like this one is coming from a client who is also a client of our accesso ShoWare solution. This person is interested in learning more about the TriPOS EMV cloud integration and is wondering if she should contact their CSM. It sounds like the EMV pin pads that they have right now are at their accesso ShoWare sales points, but currently they don't talk to accesso ShoWare. So Val, do you have any thoughts on that, or Joe?
I'll take that. I think certainly, Michelle, get with your CSM in regards to that. We'll have to look at both the equipment and the provider and just see how that might all fit together. But kind of a complex question that I think we need to dig into a little bit more with your CSM.
All right, thank you, Joe. And we do have one last question here. Our last question is, how do I know if I'm a good candidate for Ingresso?
Well, if you would like to sell more tickets and you're currently working through, if you're working with a lot of vouchers, so you're working with, resellers of your product in the marketplace. You want to look at automating that. You want to look at doing that in a bigger way. I think those are key indicators. If you're working with providers like Groupon, Living Social, Gold Star, you're probably already in this mindset, and Ingresso can just be another channel to help get more product again out to market. So I think, again, reaching out to your CSM to say you're interested, and then Katie at Ingresso is a great resource for us, so we can get her hooked up with you and start talking about those type of distribution opportunities.
All right, thank you, Joe and Val, and thank you everyone for attending today's webinar, What's New in accesso ShoWare. If we didn't have a chance to address your question, we will follow up with you individually. And if you have any other questions or would like to learn more about our accesso ShoWare solution, please contact sales@accesso.com. You will also receive a follow-up email within 24 hours with a link to view the webinar for your reference. On behalf of accesso, Val and Joe, thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your day.